Well, isn't that funny? It says that we can't do this. Okay. It says that we can't do this. hmm I wanted to do my phone sideways, and it just, I turned it on and it said, no, can't do that. So, okay, here I am. Thanks. Good day, you guys. So, hi, Chelsea. You know, it's, well, I don't know, it's middle of the day, or past the middle of the day, and I've had such a great day so far. Got to do some beautiful 12-step work today, and a fella come to the house who's been struggling, and you know, we got to really look at the nature of his struggle, and the nature of how it, you know, how our crazy mind, especially when we're dealing with addiction, can really put us in some tough positions, you know. And with this man today, we went deep into just some, you know, the basics really, that our thinking is, you know, what drives us crazy. I mean, obviously, it's always about our thinking, and so his thinking got, you know, pretty off base, and you know, and he's new in the recovery and new in the whole idea that of consciousness, and so it's hard when we're new, and we you know, we're trying to still trust our mind, and we, you know, it's hard because we don't realize that the mind is thinking from a place of an idea of right and wrong, and good and bad, and winners and losers, and it's always judging others and ourselves. So, you know, that's the place that he got to in the last few days, and often when we judge ourselves, we go to self-pity, and so what if, just this one thing, what if there was no winners and no losers? You know, I mean, our whole, the way that we live here in this world is based on this idea of winning and losing, and what if there was no winners and losers? What if we were all just being, we were all living our lives, and that everything that happened and everything where we were was exactly as it was supposed to be? What if nothing was out of place? You know, just play with that, because we're unconscious. We're unconscious of how quickly we judge ourselves, and how quickly we judge others, and how quickly we go to fear that we're being judged by others. So much of our torment in our mind is about that, and so we can lift ourselves, and we can be lifted through you know, a belief in a higher power, a belief in, not just a belief, but an experience of that, you know. And it's so interesting, because believing in a higher power isn't enough. The experience of the higher power is the ultimate, and how do we experience the higher power? Well, there needs to be letting go of who we think we are, our positions, and our holding on to concepts and ideas. We let that all go, then we actually rise to our natural state, which is the relationship with this higher power in the moment. And so what is it we want to let go of? You know, we want to let go of resentment and fear and anger, and, you know, we want to recognize that in our own self-will, we can be very selfish. Who's at the center of all of our stories? Well, we are. And there's stories of the future, there's stories of the past, stories of winning and losing, and stories of right and wrong, stories of good and bad. So if we let go of just one piece of it, the winners and losers piece, then there's nothing's out of place. Everything's perfect. There's no winning, there's no losing. We are who we are in each moment. And we are one with God. We are one with God. There is no separation. And even the idea of winners and losers separates us from God. So that's all. Just look at that. It's all about consciousness of who we've become. Our misery is, the thing that separates us from each other, from love, is this idea that, we're not good enough. And not good enough comes from being a winner or a loser, superior or inferior, good or bad, right or wrong. So let's let that all go. Well, it is hard, Linda, but ego tells us we know, and we don't. And we even imagine, that people die, and so my friend Linda's saying, it's hard to imagine that everything's perfect when babies are born with cancer or rape or murder or violence or abuse, and that is the level of the dualistic world that many of us, we're all living on, really, and of judging right and wrong and good and bad, and I'm not saying for a minute that we have to enjoy that. Just imagine that the picture's much bigger than we think, and that we can be in a smaller sense judging from our very small perspective, and allow for the possibility that love, that universal intelligence, that unconditional love has us all, even the baby that's born with cancer, or the whatever we think is an injustice on the planet. It's all part of our awakening, and that when we were born, there was a spirit within us, and we see that, when a little tiny baby, whether it's a little deer or any we just love, look, a little panda bear baby or a little human baby, and we feel that, just that essence that's there. For many of us cry, because the love is so perfect, and that's there, before we come into this being, before we come into all of our conditioning of our religion, our cultural conditioning, and it's this being that comes in with us, and when we're finished here, it leaves. It's still there. If you've been with people as they die, and you see the beauty of the moment and the bliss that happens, it's still there, this oneness, and the world gets, so surrendered. We're not thinking as in our deathbed generally, unless it's really strong, unless we're really caught in the dichotomy. We're not thinking about good and bad and right and wrong and winners and losers. We're thinking about, the one. We've surrendered to that one, often. So, letting go of winners and losers, you can always pick it up again, but just try letting it go for a little bit, just like, and letting go of our identity, and letting go of thinking that we know, is where I found the freedom. I don't know. I know that there's something much greater than me at play here, and my little plans and designs, my little idea of what's right and wrong, is based totally on a very small perspective, very small view. So if I surrender, my natural state is to be lifted up into a higher place of unconditional love and beyond. So That's the possibility. I'm going to read today from our little book I've been reading from for the last little while, and it's called 24-Hour Day Book. Hey Nathan, the 24-Hour Day Book, and it's I think we're on August 23rd, isn't it? I think it is, yeah. So this little book was written in 1954 by a member of the 12-step program, and to support people in the 12-step awakening process. And I've just really enjoyed reading from it. So I get to, share a little bit of my perspective or my experience of oneness these days, and then read from this book. So this is what we're doing. Usually I try to do it earlier in the day, but yeah, my goal, if I have a goal, is to help people to become free of their limited perspective, and to rise above and see the world as a beautiful, beautiful place that we're here in, as opposed to unsafe and a fearful place. So here we go. 23rd of August. It says, we who have accepted the 12-step principles have all been faced with the necessity for a thorough personal house cleaning. We must face and be rid of the things in us which have been blocking us. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Our concepts and ideas have been blocking us. We therefore take a personal inventory. We take stock honestly. We search out the flaws in our makeup which caused our failure. Resentment is the number one offender. So resentment comes from judgment. We decide somebody's wrong or wronged us, and because of that idea that somebody has wronged us, we become angry with them, and they should be living a certain way, that type of idea, and then we get resentful. And it doesn't mean that we have to agree with how everybody lives, or that we have to live in on healthy situations. Just that it's, for the most cases, it's none of my business how other people live their life. Even in relationship to me, it's just not. So it's what a freedom. It says resentment is the number one offender. Life, which includes deep resentment, leads only to futility and unhappiness. That's right out of the big book. It's beautiful. If we are to live, we must be free of anger. So we have to be free of anger. Beautiful. Am I free of resentment and anger? That's the question, the thought for the day. Meditation for the day. Keep in mind the goal you are striving for, the good life you are trying to attain. Do not let little things divert you from the path. Do not be overcome by the small trials and vexations of each day. Try to see the purpose and plan to which all is leading. If, when climbing a mountain, you keep your eyes on each stony or difficult place, how weary is your climb. But if you think of each step as leading to the summit of achievement, from which a glorious landscape will open up before you, then your climb will be endurable, and you will achieve your goal. So, they're talking. He's talking about the relationship with God. As we climb the spiritual mountain, if you will, even though there's no path, it's right here now. The path is in letting go. Truly, David Hawkins really nailed it with his book, Letting Go. As we let go, we float into a spiritual awakening. And yet our teachings often have taught us that we have to earn that relationship. We don't have to earn that. We are already in it. Just have to realize it. Self-realization. Yeah. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may realize that life without a goal is futile. I pray that I may find the good life worth striving for. And for me, the good life is in service. The good life is in, giving this away. This for me, become my life purpose. And every prayer in the 12-step teaching is really a contract to carry this message and to do God's will. And so, love you. Love you guys lots. Just like, wow. And thank you for allowing me to do this and to come into your space each day with this message. It's just been beautiful. Oh, I wanted to say, some of you know that, I've been supporting where I work at Fresh Start with selling tickets for that raffle. Well, yesterday we had the draw, and I don't know the people who won, but from what I could tell, it was like a sweet couple because both of their names were on the ticket, like Dorothy and Larry, I think was their name, or Larry and Dorothy, I don't know. And we called them. It was live, and it's on. I recorded it here, and you can, go back and have a look at it. And we called them, and Stacy Peterson, who's the director at Fresh Start, did the draw, and there was a lot of people there. It was a lot of fun, and it was, beautifully done. So we called the folks, and they were like, "You're kidding!" They were at first couldn't believe that they had won this Harley Davidson. Fun. It was so much fun. So thank you for all of you who bought tickets. The money goes to support the recovery program. And I want you to know that this place that I work at with Fresh Start is really the foundation of this place is based in love and compassion. Their patience and work as these men come into that treatment center and awaken to the God within them. It's a 12-step based program, and so what we're doing is helping men to find a spiritual way of living, and the directions are in the 12 steps in the big book, and they learn a lot of other things too about the practical things about living that some of us may have missed, like I did, around setting goals and expectations and creating boundaries. Those things are all part of the practical, I call it. So that's all there. But fundamentally, the bottom line is the spiritual thing that is in the 12-step program. That is the basis of the Fresh Start where I work. So that's it. Thanks for supporting us and buying tickets. Love you guys. We'll talk soon. Bye.